Okay, great. It's starting. Hi, everyone. I'm Deja Henry, and you're watching interviews that we're doing, inspirational interviews with inspirational people. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we have Kelli Brown Lee, and we're going to have a wonderful conversation today. So let's get right into it. Because we had a lot of technical issues, and I'm so glad we figured this out.
Me too. Me too.
So I found Kelli on Instagram, KB the Brave. And when I saw her feed, I was like, this is my soul sister. Oh my gosh. I just felt like connection. I know it's weird through pictures, but I really did. Because you just had that balance of like spiritual, quirky, mom, fun, just inspirational. It was like all those things. So I'm so glad we're having this virtual coffee, but I don't have coffee, I have water. So.
I've got water too. So we're in one accord.
Yes. So, Kelli, could you share with us a little bit about, who you are and what you do?
Sure. Well, first of all, I have to say that I felt the same way. I mean, I visit your blog from time to time. I get time to read blogs anymore, but I've been reading your blog for a while. And so I think that it's so cool that, just to have the opportunity to chat with you, because I'm definitely inspired by you as well. But for me, I think I'm pretty normal. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I am a writer, which is so hard for me to say that because it's something that I love to do. But I feel like when you actually say it, then it puts a lot of responsibility on you. And I'm also a singer. I'm a worship leader and a songwriter. And my husband and I just moved from the Michigan area to the West Virginia area to work at a ministry here full time. So we're adjusting to that.
We were neighbors. I'm in Indiana.
Oh, wow.
I think we have some mutual friends. Did you ever do anything with the Impact movement?
Impact.
And through Campus Crusade?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I saw on your Facebook there was Shalisa Mitchell, I think you're friends with.
Okay, I'll have to look on there. Some people I've met singing, and it's not necessary.
She sings. Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's how I know her.
So you are a worship leader, and
yes.
How many kids do you have?
We have 3 kids.
And do you write for the worship songs? Do you write for church as well?
Well, for this church here, we've only been here about 5 weeks, so it's really brand new. And I'm not the worship pastor. I'm just the main worship leader. But we are hoping that in the next season, so after Christmas, which is the busiest time of the year, especially for church, we're hoping to collaborate and get some songs written for the church specifically, which I honestly believe is a huge part of being a worship leader that a lot of people don't necessarily tap into, that I believe that God gives worship leaders also to write songs. And so I'm excited to connect with the other worship leaders and the other musicians at my church and write songs that coincide with what God is doing at our church.
That's beautiful. So not only do you write songs, what else do you write?
I write short stories, which I have a bunch of short stories that I need to just put together and make a book. But I write short stories, and it usually starts from a song or a picture. I kind of walk through the neighborhood and snap pictures, and then I'll write a short story about it. Or at the coffee shop, I'll see a couple, and then I make up a story about them.
I love that. So I do that too. I don't write them down, but I'll make up stories about people as well.
It's horrible. I mean, I don't even know my neighbor, 2 houses behind us, but I love their house, and I write these little stories about who these pretend people that live in there. It's pretty pitiful. I'm a creeper, but I imagine somebody will enjoy them one day.
I love it. You have to put them together in a book. That's awesome. Yeah. I am an actor and a filmmaker, so when you're talking about stories, I'm thinking, could those be skits and scripts and visual stories too? So maybe we should keep talking,
I'd love to collaborate or something.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
He writes plays, and he read one of my short stories, and he said that. He was like, this could be a skit. This could totally be, you know, like a little skit or a little mini screenplay or whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah, let's keep that in mind. Let's put that on the front burner right there.
Absolutely.
So I was on your Instagram, and I saw this little video that you made about your thoughts on worship. And I was wondering if you could share, do you know what I'm talking about? Which video that was?
I have a couple of them, so.
Well, okay, so in general, I guess, could you share? I was really moved by this video. I'm trying to pull it back up.
Okay.
Okay, why am I having so much trouble with technology?
Was it something recent or something a while ago?
It depends on how often you post it. Okay, so you were saying,
let's let this melody take over and let's sing it the way that we feel it. And so when you get to the bridge that second time, then you let go and you lead worship by leading with your worship. Does that make sense?
Lead worship by leading with your worship?
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. So I did this Periscope a couple weeks ago about how I prep for weekend meeting. And what I do on like Wednesday or Thursday is I break down each song, of course, the title of the song, and then I pick out a theme of the song. So let's say if it was the song I Surrender by Hillsong, then I would write at the top, I surrender. And then the theme would be like repentance, surrender, you know, something like that. And then I would pick out a phrase out of the song that speaks to me as a worship leader and speaks to something that I can relate to. So for that song, one of the parts that always ministers to me is at the end, or at the beginning when it says, here I am down on my knees again, surrendering all, surrendering all. And I feel like as a worship leader, that's really what we need to do every time we lead worship is, you know, put ourselves at the feet of the Lord and just say, here I am. I'm giving it all to you, and I'm going to let you work through that. And so that's a part of that song that speaks to me over and over again. And then I connect it with the scripture so that when I'm leading, I'm not just leading from my emotions or just from a personal experience, but that I'm also leading from the Word of God. And so what I was saying in that Periscope episode and that snippet on IG is that I was saying that when you start out the song, that you want to stick with the melody, you want to stick with the way that the song is patterned so that the people can sing it with you, especially if it's a song that people don't really know. But then once you get to the bridge, then you really kind of let out and you really kind of allow your worship to be what leads worship. You know, you actually lead from a personal experience rather than this is just a song I really like.
Wow, I never thought about it like that. I mean, I love to be in worship, and I never realized there was so much thought behind the singing and the worship, and that's really awesome. I'm curious. I'm curious because I've kind of gone through this journey with acting and filmmaking where when I was younger, the only way I thought that you did acting and filmmaking was through like Hollywood and that kind of journey. And then as I got older, I realized a lot of times that you were required to do things that like I didn't really feel comfortable with. I didn't feel like I liked the roles that were being put out for females. I didn't like what women were expected to do for roles and in roles, and I didn't always appreciate kind of the lack of the story of like I don't really see a lot of stories of like even married people trying, like that's a whole drama to me, just trying to survive marriage. We're going to be celebrating 13 years on Monday. It's like we went through a lot of things. So I'm curious. So like now I just entered a Christian film festival and I saw lots of people who had a heart for the Lord and storytelling. And it was the same night as the VMAs. Like we were 20, like a block from the VMAs.
Oh, wow.
And it just like struck me like, oh my gosh, these are two different worlds. Like two different things are happening. Like two different art is being used two different ways. Yeah. And so over the years, you know, it's been a struggle. Like, okay, if I'm not going to do it this way, can I do it for God, but can I? And so I was curious, did you ever have a journey with like singing, music? Did you ever kind of start in that, okay, well, I think I'm supposed to do it the world's way, because that's all kind of what you see, and then you're able to do it for the Lord and get fulfillment that way. So do you have a journey like that?
For sure. I think growing up, I grew up in a very small church, and so there wasn't a lot of display of the arts at all. It was kind of like everything was pretty much regimented. It was an awesome church, but as a child growing up and knowing that I had these creative gifts, I didn't really have anywhere to use them. And so I don't think it was till I got into college until I realized that I really needed to make a decision about who I was going to be. And for me, that's where it starts. It starts with who you're going to be and not necessarily what you're going to do. Because if who you are is intact, then what you're going to do comes out of that. We're human beings. We're not human doings. So in college, I really struggled with figuring out who I was, because I went to college. I went to Ohio State. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I went to Ohio State.
Yeah. Went to Purdue.
Okay. I went to Ohio State, and that first year, I remember dating this football player, and I thought, oh, that was the thing, because I was dating this football player. And then just being caught up in like other things. And for a while, I really did consider, maybe being an R&B singer or doing some other things. And it really just came down to who I was when I decided that I am a believer. And that doesn't mean that I get everything right. And that doesn't mean that I do everything right, but that I believe and I trust in God as my Savior. And I believe that if I get out of line, that He'll give me a little nudge and say, hey, you need to get right back on the right track. I just made a decision that this is who I am. And so now I weigh everything against that. If I make this choice to be a part of this event or sing these songs, does that go against who I am? Does it compromise who I am? Not necessarily what I'm supposed to be doing as a believer, but more so who I am, who I know God has made me to be. And if I can go to sleep at night knowing that I'm lining things up with who I am, then I'm okay with that. And it's hard in Christianity because a lot of people are very, not as much as they used to be, but a lot of people are kind of scared when it comes to the arts in the Christian faith. And I don't know why. God created the world. So obviously He's a creator. Obviously He's an artist, and He expresses Himself through song and colors and all sorts of various gifts. But I just think some people don't understand it. And so sometimes people are afraid of what they don't understand. But I'm thankful that if I'm feeling locked up or, I'm stifled in my creativity, that I can go outside and look at the trees, and it's 5 or 10 minutes before I come up with something, or I just believe that's all a part of God's plan for us to use what He's created to fuel our own creativity,
Yeah. That's really deep. So how did you know who you were? Like, when you decided, was that decision a journey in of itself? Because I'm thinking about other moms that I've had conversations with, and they're, when you first become a mom and your children are little, and there's I feel like I'm losing myself comes up. And then all of a sudden you change from being this person, and then, if you get married, now you're a wife, and then you're all of a sudden a mom. And usually those things kind of happen within a few years for many people. Not everyone, but many people. What was that journey like, to say, like, I know who I am now? Or at least I know who I am is the most that I can know right now in my life journey. But
yeah, I feel like it's definitely something that I have to go back to often. It's not something that, like, okay, I'm me and I'm okay with that. And, it's not that. I think more of a thing of, I've just made some decisions, and some values I'm just not willing to compromise. And so even when it comes to sometimes when I'm feeling like I'm losing myself, quote unquote, in my marriage or as a mom, just forgetting, who I am as myself, then I'm quick to ask my husband or say to my husband, like, I need some time to myself. If I can get away for maybe 3 or 4 hours and go to the coffee shop and write or just sit outside or even talk to a friend, just and not in a way that dishonors my husband or my marriage, but sometimes you just need to talk to a female friend that understands female emotions. And if I can talk to somebody that's solid in their faith and I can just be real with them, a lot of times that helps me. But I am a person, I'm a stickler for alone time. And that doesn't mean that I'll just go off for days or anything, but a couple hours a week, I definitely try to have some alone time, to spend some time just reconnecting with myself and asking the Lord, are there any areas like where I'm really missing it, and can you show me and help me to be refueled in those areas by you and you alone and not other things. Otherwise, I'm liable to miss it completely.
That's really good. I think young moms or moms of young kids. Sorry, I just saw a dead bug up there. Anyways, I didn't know that I could ask that, and in fact, I didn't. I'm an introvert, so I didn't realize that I needed to do that. One, just because it's part of my nature, as I need to be re-energized, and when you're constantly around little kids, your beautiful, lovely little ones, all the time. You have to just speak up and ask because people don't know, and as much as they love you, they just can't read your mind. And I had no idea to even ask that. It took so long for me to do. I was miserable and grumpy and until I figured this out. Oh, even 3 hours, like an afternoon or a part of an afternoon, is like life changing.
It is. I've learned that. I mean, and I think I'm thankful that my husband, we've been married almost 11 years. And I think so thank you, that he gets it, that I just need some time to regroup, and once I've had a chance to kind of just be still and evaluate things, sometimes I don't do anything but like brain dump. I don't know if you do that.
Yeah.
Paper and just write whatever comes to my mind, and just something like that sometimes will help me because you get consumed by taking care of everybody else, and then you forget like I haven't taken care of myself.
Mm-hmm. Those are really great, 2 great tips. Get alone time and brain dump.
Yes, brain dump.
Yeah, I like to take walks. Like you're talking about nature. Yesterday I took a walk and I talked to God, and it was just 30 minutes, but I felt like, oh man, it was just nice. Like you said, it's fall, just to see the trees and hear the birds. And it's just, like you said, his creation is inspiring. So that's awesome. I wanted to ask you about how do you handle all your different hats that you wear? Mother, wife, worship leader, and then making time for yourself. How do you not like drop one of those plates that you're spinning? Or if you drop it, pick it up.
Oh, I've dropped it many times. I never want to paint the picture like I figured it all out. There are seasons in my life where I've had a pretty good system. Before we moved here and when I lived in Michigan, and actually before we had our third, because our third is only 7 months. So before we had our third, I had a pretty good routine down. And I used to travel. I sing background for a few gospel artists also. So I would travel sporadically, and I would kind of have to have a system of, I'd put the kids' clothes like in quart size Ziploc bags and put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that kind of stuff, and I had a system. But then if you add a baby to the routine, And then now that I'm working full time in ministry, it changes up things. And so for me, I've stopped trying to do everything. And what I'm learning to do is to pick two things that are the most important for me to get done that day. So at work, I have to get my work done. I mean, that's what I get paid to do. But when I'm at work, I try to get there early in the morning because I'm a morning person. I think better in the morning. So I try to get there a little bit before everybody else gets there. And that's my time when I write out everything and I write out my task for the day. And then I choose two things that need to be done at home without a doubt. And so sometimes it's laundry. Sometimes it's I have to clean the kitchen or there's going to be bugs, whatever, I pick two things that just
like that one.
Yeah. And it seems much more manageable that way if I can just pick two things instead of trying to do everything. Now that I'm working, I have to have a balance. Otherwise, I'll be trying to do everything every single day and I'll be exhausted. And when I'm exhausted, I'm grumpy. And nobody wants me grumpy.
Yeah,
so.
Nobody wants mama grumpy.
Nope.
So that sounds kind of like we have to give ourselves some grace as moms, and it's not like gonna be like this forever. I keep reminding myself that, my kids are a little bit old. I remember when I got rid of sippy cups in the high chair, I cried as we took down the crib and all that stuff. But it's like, oh, wait a minute, it's not always. Now the older ones load the dishwasher. It's not always perfect. Sometimes there's water on the ground, but I remember the days where there was nobody to help me with the dishes and nobody, and so it's just a season. And so it's not even worth, that's the other thing I have to remind myself, it's not worth getting like cray.
That when we speak, a little cloud is created. And so it's almost like, so what are you going to do with your cloud? Now it's there. Now it's in the atmosphere. Now what are you going to do with that cloud? So I think there is something about saying it out loud. It's my dream to be a business owner. It's my dream to write novels. It's my dream to own a daycare. Whatever it is, say it out loud. Find some people that will pray with you for it to come to fruition. Find some people that will hold you accountable. And I mean, if you don't do anything but work on it 15 minutes, 2 days a week, as long as you're making progress and you're working towards that little cloud in the air, then you are pursuing your passion. So I would just encourage you, say it out loud. Say it out loud.
What's your dream?
Oh my gosh, I have so many.
What are a few of them?
My dream, I want to have my own bookstore and cafe one day. I actually want to have a home in London because I love London. I'd like to have a flat in London. I would like to go on a missions trip for an entire year with my family. I would like for us to go somewhere and live away for an entire year. And however that looks, I don't know, but that's a passion of mine and a dream of mine. And I have a dream that I'm not quite ready to say out loud, so I'll keep that one to myself. But I do have a big dream regarding ministry that I have accepted is the Lord's will. And I'm not ready to say it out loud, but I am asking the Lord to help me to prepare myself because I know that dream's going to happen one day.
Thank you for sharing all of that wonderful wisdom today. I'm looking forward to kind of, what's the word? Why can't I think of the word? The synopsis of our interview, kind of like writing out, because I think you shared some really like practical, actionable things that's really awesome. So
I'm glad.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that we were able to have this conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. Oh my gosh, this was great and so inspiring. So I hope that we can keep talking about that, story stuff.
Yes, please. Let's do it.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. I like creating skits and films, and I really want to I guess it's one of my dreams is to keep producing films, and so I was able to do that earlier this year, like actually write and produce my own thing.
Oh wow!
So with a friend of mine, we both did it together, but I mean, it came out of us, and so I've never done that before, and we were able to go to LA with it, and I was just like, what? And like, oh, I don't suck. Like that was the thing I came away with. Was, like all these years, you know, you worry if you stink at it, if anyone wants to see it. So, yes, let's keep talking about that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So I will talk to you soon, hopefully, and catch you on Instagram. And we got each other's numbers, so
great. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.